Hey, and welcome back, friends. And if you're new here, a high five for you.
Welcome. We're glad to have you.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Adelle.
And we're with the Noble Marriage.
We're here to serve your marriage through authentic, God-centered conversation that's going to point you back to Jesus and hopefully impact and inspire you to be your best self inside your marriage.
Our prayer is through our ministry, your marriage will be impacted with true love and intimacy.
So thank you again for joining us today. Hey, and welcome back to our interview series with Dr. Gary Chapman. We're on video number 4. So if you haven't seen video 1, 2, and 3, you are definitely going to want to go back, check those out because they are some really great videos. But today, let's jump right in because yesterday we heard that God laid on his heart 3 questions to begin asking his wife to turn and transform their entire marriage around. So let's listen in and hear what they are.
And I said, please give me the attitude of Christ toward my wife. And in retrospect, it's the greatest prayer I ever prayed about my marriage because God changed my heart and gave me a desire to serve her. 3 questions made it practical for me. When I was willing to ask these 3 questions, our marriage began to change. They're simple questions. Honey, what could I do to help you? Second question, what could I do to make your life easier? Question number 3, how could I be a better husband? When I was willing to ask those questions, she was willing to give me answers. She told me. Now,
she had a list for you?
Now, looking back on it, because I knew nothing about love languages, but looking back on it, her answers were telling me her love language. They were telling me how to love her. And when I started doing that, her attitude began to change. And it didn't happen overnight, but probably within 3 months, she started asking me those 3 questions. What can I do to help you? How can I make your life easier? How can I be a better wife? So we've been walking this road a long time now, in which I've been reaching out to serve her, she's been reaching out to serve me. And I think this is what God intended. Right. That we're serving each other, helping each other become what God wants us to become. So we become winners. You know, in the early days we were losers. We shot each other.
Yeah.
We went away wounded. But you get it going this way, and you're moving in the right direction. And then, once you get your marriage going well, God can use both of you to help other couples. There are other people, So, that was the turning point in our marriage.
Do you remember what some of her answers were?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she wanted me to wash dishes, vacuum floors. She wanted me to clean the toilet. We were living in a little apartment, there wasn't a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. But
sure. So acts of service.
Yeah, acts of service. Looking back on it, acts of service very clearly. Yeah. And it's still her love language.
It hadn't changed.
No, it hadn't changed. It's still. I still vacuum the floors. I still take out the trash. I still clean the toilets.
I love that.
And she tells me I'm the greatest husband in the world. And my language is words of affirmation.
Yes,
and I know that is a hyperbole, but it still feels good.
Yeah. That is so good. Well, apparently those 3 questions made a huge impact on their marriage. 60 years later, they're still together, and he is known as one of the leading marriage experts in the world.
Yeah, and they're still asking each other the same questions.
So impactful.
I love these 3 questions. When we didn't have these questions in our marriage, but there have been times where we have both asked each other these questions.
Yeah, in different ways.
And I remember the impact that it started to have on our relationship and how we started to see each other differently. And I love his example of how when 2 people have been serving each other and they're putting each other first, ultimately we are becoming who God intended us to be through serving, which is what Jesus says the way to be a leader is to serve, not to be served.
Yeah, and to me, like that points to like a spire. You know, the husband and wife coming together points to God. You know, so it has like a word picture analogy to it too, and just being able to serve one another. It like for you, whenever we first had this question, you asked me, and I was like, I really need more help around the house doing some of these chores and tasks and things that I feel like need to be done. And you were like, listen, I want some more time with you. I want some more quality time together. And we were on completely different pages, but once we had these questions with each other, we were able to see what's really important to you, and you were able to see what's really important to me. And that's our love language, and that's the way to our heart, which we'll get into in, I think, the next video, right?
Yeah.
So just having these questions be able to be asked to your spouse opens up a whole new world of like, how can I serve you? What are some things I can do to make your life easier? How can I be a better spouse to you? These are simple, easy questions to really get in the whole world of your spouse and how your marriage can be improved.
Yeah, so I just want to read the questions one more time. It says, what can I do to help you? How can I make your life easier? And how can I be a better husband or wife? And I love these questions because they're timeless. Like, they will work no matter where you're at and what season you're in. These questions will work. And he said a few months later, his wife started asking these questions back, which is not what he went with these questions to do. He just felt like the Lord was showing him, if you want to be happy in your marriage, it starts with you serving first.
That's a good point.
And he really got that. And earlier, you and I were just sharing, and we feel like serving each other is like submission and leading at the same time, which I think is so beautiful because, you know, the Bible talks about submitting to one another. And, you know, I believe that's exactly what the verse is saying, is submitting to one another also is serving and, you know, lifting each other up and making life easier for one another. Which is so beautiful. And what's cool about that also is he said, you know, her answers reflected her love language, which is acts of service. And that's exactly what happened with us.
It did.
Is we were asking each other various questions similar to these, and we were answering in our love language. And
yeah, I need more help around the house.
And yeah, like when you told me that, I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, why have you waited so long to just communicate with me about that?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, why can't you read my mind?
I wish I was a mind reader.
Me too.
No, actually, I don't.
No.
But that's what I love about these questions. They point to your spouse's love language, which helps you love them the way they want to be loved or the way they need to be loved. Yeah. So my challenge to you is start today asking these questions to your spouse. And don't do it with an expectation of getting something in return. You may not get a response at all, and that is okay because it starts with you.
Always
and
starts
me.
with you.
Yes.
Always.
So one more time, I'm going to read these 3 questions. What can I do to help you? How can I make your life easier? And how can I be a better husband or wife?
So how can I be a better husband?
You can just come up behind me and give me hugs and love me throughout the day.
All day long?
All day.
I can definitely do that.
Okay, great.
Thank you for asking. So I'm curious, do you know your love language? Adele and I were just talking about ours and how we discuss ours. Put yours in the comment. Let us know what yours is. And on the next video, we're going to be discussing, where did the 5 love languages even come from?
I'm so excited. It's such a good story. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, you're not finished yet.
We're here to make a difference and inspire your marriage and other marriages as well. And if you found value in these videos, leave us a comment and let us know what that was so we can make other videos similar to that.
We would love for you to join our community of awesome, like-minded people.
They are awesome.
Go ahead and hit subscribe and you'll get daily motivational videos that impact your life and inspire you to be your best self. This also helps us get our message out to marriages all over the world. So thank you so much for subscribing and joining our community.